Okay, I can do this.
You're
If only traveling with your kids in the car was as peaceful as sitting on top of the car in a yoga pose, life would be a lot better. But if you're watching this video, you're probably headed on a long car ride with your kids. And if you watched my last video about my nightmare trip to Cape Cod with the twins, then you would know I was stuck in the car for 7.5 hours, and I brought back a whole lot of awesome tips for you to learn from what we did wrong. So, the first thing that you want to do before you get into the car with your kids is make sure that the car is properly set up. And I like to start with the rear view mirrors, or like the kids' mirrors. So make sure that they are set up so that way you could see them from the front seat and make sure that they're safe. Another thing that you want to do is bring down those sunshades. We have one sunshade on each side for each child, and that will just make sure that they aren't too hot from the sun coming in and it's not waking them up. Tire them out. And what I mean by that is exercise them, take them to the park, run them around if they are walking. What we did was we kept them up past their morning nap, and we went traveling at, I think, around noon or 11 o'clock is when we started traveling. So they were down for a nap for the first 2 to 3 hours of our car ride, which was really good because that gave us time to get settled in and not have to make any stops in the beginning. But when they wake up, toys are your best friend and their favorite thing. So what I did was I just went around the house and grabbed a bunch of toys, or actually more things that aren't toys, like a sour cream cup, or a weird lid, or a bottle lid. I mean, not like a water bottle, because they could choke on that, but like the lids that you put onto your onto their milk bottles, they could play with that. And I just put a bunch of random things that they haven't played with before, so that they're like really new and exciting to them, into a bag, and I kept it really close with me, so that way when they start to freak out, I gave them toys. Another option is to go to the store and get a bunch of new toys that they've never played with before and whip them out when they're freaking out, and that'll give you a few moments, or hopefully like a half hour of peace and quiet while they play with them. And playing can tire anyone out. So when that starts to get boring, give them snacks, because they're probably hungry. Also, make sure that the foods that you bring for the kids are finger foods, because it's best to have something that they can just hold on their own instead of something that will get messy. I would say to avoid those like squeezy pouches. Mila had a squeezy pouch in the car the other day, and she squeezed it all over herself and then started flinging it into the front seat, and that's how we actually found out that she was playing with it, and it was going all over the ceiling and all over us. Avoid that. Mum-Mums are really awesome, and make sure to have a ton of snacks, not only for the kids, but for the parents too. Don't be ashamed to feed yourself. So they're bored of their new toys, and they're not hungry anymore. The next tip I would say is, if they're freaking out, give them an iPad or an iPhone or something that you could play a movie or a song on. I recommend downloading a movie or a video. We really like Splash and Bubbles. The kids love watching that on TV. Loading it onto your iPad or iPhone first before you leave the house, because you may not have internet on the road. Another thing is like nursery songs or something like that. Like the kids might kind of not want to listen to the radio, but like nursery songs or kids songs might be a little more interactive and fun for them for the car ride. Keep your diaper bag within reach. And if you're anything like me, you have like a Mary Poppins diaper bag and has everything in it. So you need to keep it with you at all times. I had mine in the front seat, and it had the kids' toys, it had the snacks, it had water, it had anything that I needed, the diapers. Also, make sure you have a change of clothes for your kids in there, because you'll be surprised. They could get pee, they could get poop and food or drink all over their clothes, and then they're gonna be a hot mess because they're upset because they're wet. So make sure you have something to change them into. So the toys, the snacks, the radio, the songs, the movies, none of it is working. I would recommend trying to roll down the windows. Make sure that the suction cup window shades are unsuctioned so you don't have the problem when you roll down your windows. And that's just kind of something that Ryan thought of when we were in the car, but it helped the kids kind of get some more sounds in and a little more wind, just like a change of environment, because I think that a lot of the times kids just get claustrophobic in the car. But we found that helped Mila and Lincoln calm down a little bit for a moment or two. And that's really what we're doing here, is just trying to buy you some time. The windows are down, the wind is flying through the car. The next thing you have to do is jump back into the car with them. It's probably going to be Mom who does it because, I don't know, in our family, Ryan's always driving the car. But hop in the back seat and just entertain them with your hands, give them toys, talk to them. Again, it's just another change of environment, like, whoo, Mom's back in the back seat with us, and it's fun for the kids. You probably saw in my last video Ryan getting out of the car and getting pretty crazy with toys and things on his head. He was entertaining the kids from the outside of the car. If you're in dead stop traffic, you gotta do what you gotta do. I even got out of the car with the kids and I was driving around in the stroller. Which brings me to my last tip. When all else fails, get out of the car. You've got to get out of the car. Tip number 1, get out of the car. My kids were so over being in the car that we just had to go to the park. This is not a joke. I took the kids to a nearby park and Ryan stayed in the car. If you're not in dead stop traffic like we were, I would recommend going to a rest stop and just getting out of the car, having your kids walk around, looking at some new things. They just need a change of surroundings, and that will breathe some fresh air into them and help you finish the last leg of your car ride. So you can finally get on your vacation, which won't be really relaxing, I'm sorry to tell you. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and you liked hanging out with me on top of our car. Give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if there are some tips that you have that I didn't mention, because I would love to know for future car rides and for everyone else who's watching these videos. See you soon!